Hey Discovery, thanks for joining us again for our video devotional. And we're continuing from the message on Sunday. We're in the series Now What? And it's all taken from the passage out of Acts chapter 2, verse 42, where it says, all the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to sharing in meals, and to prayer. And this, of course, was right after a large amount of people came to Christ through Peter's preaching, over 3,000 people. And then it's followed by this verse. They devoted themselves to these things. And Sunday, Chris talked about the fellowship. Now, fellowship is a unique word because even though we all participate in fellowship at some place at some times, you don't really use that word. That's really a word we only hear in church. And it's a word that comes from, it's in the Greek in the Bible as koinonia. And it actually means fellowship, but it's a very intimate fellowship. In fact, other places in Scripture, that word koinonia is interpreted as communion. And so it really insinuates a very personal, very intimate relationship, which is what Jesus intended for the church, for us to be close, to do life together. And so koinonia, or fellowship that he's talking about, is very intimate, it's very powerful, and it's all about relationships. And one of the things that Chris brought out that I really liked was in 1 John 1, where John is writing, and he says in verse 4, we write these things so that you may fully share our joy. Other translations say, so that your joy might be full or complete. And then down in verse 7, he says, if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And so we see that our joy, and joy is not based on circumstances, right? Joy is from God, but the way we grow in joy and receive God's joy is to grow in our fellowship with God and with others. So let me leave you with this challenge to be intentional about fellowshipping with both God and people. That's something that we all have to work on. It's not just sitting there and being in the presence of somebody, but it's engaging and being intentional about growing in fellowship with one another so that our joy may be full and complete. Hey, we hope to see you this Sunday as we continue our series, Now What?